Thank you, Cynthia and Rosalind. I appreciated your poetry very much. I did prepare 20 minutes, Sean. I hope that's okay. That's what I've got for you. The first, I wanted to do a mental illness themed reading because of serotonin, and I thought that that would reflect a certain aspect of my life that would be interesting to hear about. So the first poem I'm reading is Sonnet of the Hardened Heart, a sonnet of self-preservation after trauma. Care less, I warn myself. Bother no more with inner crevices, prying the shell like scabs, rough, oozing, sore, which crust but tell of tumults against the psychic seabed floor. It is in vain. Swollen and hard around the meat, like newborn skin or the vaginal flower. The protection obdurate damns me. Damn the mound which buries my soul and suffocates what little power my will may afford. That meat, that flower, that skin, a pulsing pinkish mass, is thus entombed. And yet, for her to exist at all, the wound must needs be sealed by this guardian within. She lives within her shell. Perhaps she dies as well, because it makes and mutes her cries. The next one is called Shaman of the Waves, and it reflects my personality as it has affected others in the world. I am the raging tempest tossed upon the fretful sea. You are the calm and quiet gale that steadies me. And yet I am the raging sea as well as all its roar. And you are even still, the shore that calms the shore. And I am blackened night as when the ship has sunk away. And then I see your light which shines as if a day. And in the dark and cold alone I cry for one to hear. And then you come. You are the lifeboat drawing near. This vessel that you are is strong to bear all my within. For you receive the charge with grace and take me in. You tilt against the whirling swirl and navigate the course so far from tumult where I dwell with ever force. Your shoulder is against the gale and me against your chest, and we against the hollow gray I come to rest. I find mercurial repose upon a curious shore, because you gently landed me, I ask no more. And so we are of polar force that meets in synergy. You are the shaman of the waves. I am the sea. I didn't mention it before. That one was from my book, Jesus and Eros. The first one was from my book, Sonnets. This next one is also from Sonnets. It's about self-harm. I hope that won't be too difficult for some of you to listen to, but it's called Cut Sonnet. What will begin as thought will end in deed. A striking of the skin, of flesh and heart, and then the friction giving way to bleed with red relief. like tears which know no part of reason or of sanity, but flow responsive to the need to rip and see a mirror wounding from without. Although one can touch, the other is not free, except in reciprocity to splay itself, the earthly to the earth. And then this ugly skinding will display until the salve of time will show its worth. For memories can thus become unmade, and pain can ease, and even scars do fade. This next sonnet came from the depths of my period of when I was quite ill. Saint John of the Cross wrote a book called The Dark Night of the Soul. And it seems that I felt very much at that point that that's where I was. And this is called For Saint John of the Cross. It was 5 years of darkness. I was dead, but barely breathing, living hardly, laying about the marble slab. It was my bed where I would live, if life were sleep. Heart slain of all feeling, empty, absent, gone, was beating only, but no heart therein. I labored on like vapors, still upon a dark moor. Festered nothing was my sin, if it was sin. In truth, I do not know the reason for so long an empty shell. My walking form lacked why or where to go. This surely was an earthly form of hell. I yearned for health and wellness, to be whole. But I was in the dark night. The next sonnet is about a fear of death. What if my time is limited? If all that I have left is perhaps months, not years, all laden with the worries and the fears surrounding what is death? Can I recall a time when all the cares of life were small and I would not yield up to silent tears, or what to high anxiety adheres as I am just about to take a fall? I need a calm and steady state of mind where I can take control of the unknown, the frightful darkness that can make me blind, the secret terror place that is my own. I must thus steady stay, and then remind my weaker self what better thought has known. That was from sonnets as well. This next one is sort of a companion one about the fear of death, which I had regarding a breast cancer scare I had last year. 1,000 thoughts. 1,000 thoughts I cannot seem to shake. A whirlwind of pressure in my head. I wish I had a stronger faith instead of worrying of all that is at stake. I wish that with this energy I'd make a place where I no longer fear or dread the possibility I could be dead. I do not sleep well, but I lie awake. But I must face what possibility awaits me as I sit and wait and ponder and try to put these anxious thoughts away and hope that time is given to me and I can live my life and not to wonder if I will get to live another day. This next one is from my book, Longer Thoughts, simply called Insomnia. I'm sure if you've had it, you can relate. In this sleepless state of night, relief escapes me. How I yearn to find a rest that does not come. Within my mind are waking thoughts I have to fight. I lie awake upon my bed without repose, away or remedy, without refreshment. Nothing succors me. Exasperation thrives instead. So, pop a little pill for aid, or drink a cup of chamomile tea. Sometimes that works or not. Unfortunately, my wakeful state is not allayed. And I feel my beating heart. I watch the ticking time all passing by and lay back down again and hope and try to make this endlessness depart. And so I have disquiet wakefulness and wish that I could rise to face the day. But then I go on about it anyway and live on in yawning sleeplessness. This next one is not published yet. It is called High Anxiety. Oh, come and view the workings of an over-anxious mind. The day-to-day of black, cold darkness that can paralyze. So full of hidden terrors and foreboding that in kind I wonder what catastrophe might soon materialize. For wakeful nights keep sleep away with worry and with dread, a feeling of impending doom that flutters in my heart. I fight in vain to overcome the unknown, but instead I lie awake and wish this apprehension would depart. This is a covert, secret place, unseen by outside eyes. I wear a coating of some calm to masquerade the fear, and try to cloak, conceal away. But then I realize I am an open book, and my proclivities are clear. What horrors I invent, what terrors and calamity. And yes, worst case scenarios are ever festering. For when the palpitations come, I wish that I could see a better situation than what I'm engendering. Instead, I quiver, and in trepidation, I can quake in endless combinations of my mental wanderings. Distortion causes all my equilibrium to shake because I cannot cease from such tumultuous ponderings. What would it be if somehow I could live without this weight, and future tense would only be a present tense to me? Oh, then I could live in the moment, in this present pleasant state, and be completely free from all this high anxiety. This next poem I read the last time I was here. This is my struggle with medication. At the time, I was still struggling with it. To be or not to be medicated. To burst unfettered in the manic way, the talking mouth that cannot stop to rest. Are you to say I should not be this way? My fast brain bursting full of better, best? I sing, I write, I make, but can these be if creativity is dulled inside of me? If sentience devolves to reticence, to fit the current psychopharma sense, how can I make the songs I sing so deeply, or make the heart that hears it cry so sweetly. I burn with heat as my pen works the page. How can a dullard bring the sage words of a sage? If neurons misfire, why misfire mine? My flame will burn right out without a rhyme. You seek to keep the highs and lows at bay. You seek to even out the peaks and pits. But how can trees wave branches in the air if they become attenuated bits? My burst is lost. I love to burst. I love to bear a child in a poem. I love to work 12 hours at a thrust to give in words a newly labored tome. I love to touch. I love to feel. I love the sound and hues of silk and steel. If diamonds and rust escape the sensory, why do you seek to take it all from me? Ah, yes, but see, you are complex. Your mind is broken, needs a kind of fix. We cannot have you run abouting, living, breathing, singing, shouting, and thinking too much too. So this is why these meds are good for you. Ah, yes, I know. The points on a momentary snowflake sparkle so. And yet, if you were to smooth it smoothingly, what shape would then the perfect snowflake be? In fairness, I do go low into the abyss. This pit is not when twirling my skirts, but rather when I render splits into my skin until it hurts. I can make tombs of closets or my bed, for sleeping hard and long can make you dead. But to a point, because I wake again. 'Tis true this ebb can flow out in the end. Ought to straddle polar poles and not to sway. Healers of neuron makers and transmitters, give me back my brain's peculiar fritters. Pharma, grant no side-affected me, and psyche will dance in manic reverie. That was actually from my book, Jesus and Eros. I kept forgetting to say where these were from, but this penultimate poem here I'm going to read was shortlisted in Serotonin's New Year's contest and ultimately published a month or so ago, I guess it was. It's a rondo called I'm Better Now. I'm better now, though I was ill for many years. Raw memories still pervade my mind, for I can see, dictated by insanity, a fight for every force of will. Pure manic energy, the thrill, harsh dangers, foolish acts, until judgment was gone. But thankfully, I'm better now. Dark lowness that could bleed and kill, enchained, but now a change in me. Both poles subdued, miraculously, due to new pills and medical skill. I'm better now. My last poem, I wanted to end on a positive note along with I'm Better Now, from my book Sonnets, called A New Day. Welcome to a new day. I must go ahead with life as it presents to me. I have to forge ahead, steadfast, and show what moving on and steering forth can be. For past is only dreams and memories, and it can bind the heart to so much pain. And future can be blind to what it sees, if it makes anxious thoughts appear again. But now is the time to move ahead. Today, I take the life I'm offered in its course and do what is before me in its way, what I must do by elemental force. For then is past. The future distant lies. But live today before life lives and dies. Thank you very much.